bit of an idea of what coding for iOS is like. It's a strongly typed language based on C. So it's not Java, it's not Python, it's not web stuff most of the time. But you can have generically typed objects and interject code at runtime. So you can get some of the features of a dynamic language if you happen to need them. But they're not working in dynamic language all the time. Arc is automatic reference counting. If you're doing stuff for new devices, new development primarily, you don't have to deal with memory management so much anymore. There's like 3 little rules about how you name stuff, and the compiler does it all for you. It's compile time, not run time, so it's not slow like a garbage collector or indeterminate. It's really nice. The syntax, though, looks totally different from anything else. Lots of square brackets. Everything's kind of backwards. So that can be a bit of a hump to get over when you're starting dealing with it. For the most part, we were dealing with high-level SDK stuff. Tell the camera library to pop up the camera view so they can take a picture, get the picture back, do something with it. You can drop down to C and to other, sometimes there's 2 or 3 different versions of libraries to get at lower and lower levels of functionality. Like audio, there's at least 3 different levels that you can play with. Really nice, there's 2 sets of devices, and for specifying Retina and regular versions of images, you just name the files appropriately and it handles it automatically, so you don't have a bunch of if this is a big screen, if this is a small screen, or making sure the flow works out, all that stuff to deal with. So yeah, give you a little bit of hello world and a bit of view of what the tools do. A little bit of code. The application delegate is the core part of the application. Basically, you start up with the main function to launch the app, and then this is the wrapper that holds everything else. Info.plist is just kind of your feature spec properties list.
File,
yeah, it's a file to set up stuff for your app, and Interface Builder is the visual design tool. And just in case people tell you that Apple always wants money, they don't want money until you actually want to run on real hardware or actually want to submit it. Then they want money once a year. So the longer you can go without going that, the longer it is before your years start expiring. So simple hello world, all it does is it has a button, you press it and it says hello. So very visual hello world. So if you're doing graphical design stuff in iOS, UI stuff, you're going to be working at these tools. You've got some kind of view that's a container, some kind of stuff in it. This is just like background color and button. You have other references to them, so view and a button and a view and a button. A whole bunch of property stuff about whatever you've currently got selected. Sizing stuff, connections to other views, properties, the background color you can set there. You've got a library of other components, segmenting controls, text fields, switches, whatever. And that's basically your UI stuff. Then you're going to want to back it up with code. So what you do is you would, just to get this done in 10 minutes, you'd launch this up, you'd automatically get a view, you'd drag and drop a button to it, and then you'd right click on the button, and so you want to hook up an event. Well, you can barely see this, but the event you want to touch up inside, you want when you take your finger off the button for something to happen, and you hook that up to a code event. So in this case, I've got a tapped button event, and this is my Hello World View controller. See? So the view controller has an event called tapped button, which is an interface builder action. Makes sense, I could hook it up to an interface builder item as an action. And within there, we just create a little alert. It's got a title, it's got a message, I don't care what happens, and I want an OK button. And then we show it. So that's the core of the view controller. Not really model view controller platform because they don't really have the model, there's not a lot of data going on there. What happens when you actually run it is when the application launches, this method gets called. Application did finish launching with options. Creates a window for the application that holds all the views, and then we create that view controller, create that view, stick it in, and show it. That's just template, and even in newer versions you don't have to do it. Sometimes it's just easier to do it that way anyway. So if we run that, what we get is simulator, which is a 4-inch screen running a 3-inch app. Okay. And we press say hello, we get our little notification. And that is about all there is to setting up a Hello World type app in iOS. Stuff you will want to fiddle with. I said there is that info.plist configuration file, and you can go through and you can dig through that in whatever format you like, but for the most part, and this is kind of nice, it's exposed through these little tabs on the project and the target. Project can have multiple apps in it, each app is a target. Set of unit tests is also a target. So you can define a whole bunch of build settings and stuff at the level for the whole project, like what level of iOS should this run down to. I can run on 5.0 is fine. Then on the target, you can come in here and define what's the version number. Does it run on an iPhone, an iPad, or both? Instead of writing up that chunk of template code to make that view visible, do you want to just automatically load something up on launch? What's your orientations? Where are your icons? Do you want to launch? A whole bunch of that stuff you can set in there. And basically that is Hello World on iOS, and I'll come back and talk a little bit more about, I'll show you one of the other tools for debugging and stuff in a bit of a deeper example later. Do you have any questions now?
I'm totally brand new to Apple development. I want to get into it. What's the cheapest way for me to do that?
Hire her.
No, unfortunately. Not committed.
Cheapest.
So $550 provides your own monitor and keyboard and stuff.
Okay.
Load it up, go to the Mac App Store, grab iOSKW, which is the developer tool. It's free there, and run from there. It is worth signing up as an Apple developer, even with an unpaid account, just to get access to all the developer resources.
So you get some
Documentation. Their documentation and examples are actually, for the most part, pretty good.
Okay.
Some of them are a little dated.
So just get like an entry level Mac Mini, and then away you go. You just get the source code of the S code. Is that what it's called?
The videos from the
Yes.
developer conferences, you get access to those as well, which is pretty helpful.
Okay.
Which are, yeah, they're really nice. And they do a lot of intro videos and what's new in kind of stuff, examples of tools.
Just kind of like an amateur kind of jumping in, just wanted to kind of see what the difference is. I know with Microsoft, they buy all the tools to get it. I was just kind of curious what Apple's like.
So you said $550. Does that include trying it on a device? Like if you have an Apple device?
$550, that chunk of hardware.
Yeah.
Trying it on device is $99 a year.
You can run on the simulator.
But you, yeah, this simulator thingy is free.
Yeah.
But plugging in a cable on a physical device, yeah. And there are some differences.
Get an iPod.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you get an iPod for $200-$300.
Then you can get an iPod, and it runs the same like an iPhone.
Yeah.
So yeah, unless you're testing like phone.
But you still need to do the 99.
So it'll still run.
Yeah,
Yes.
you still do.
Even though
But
it's
it's a
not
much
phone.
cheaper device.
Yeah.
It's my
It's
daughter. It's my daughter.
I should ask.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The emulator there, is that part of the tools as well?
Yeah, that's part of the tools, as is, I'll show later, it's called Instruments, and it has all of the various, I think I've listed a whole bunch of them here, memory leaks, CPU stuff, database, dealing with multi-threading, some automated testing stuff, that's all built in.
Okay.
Continuous integration, Apple doesn't have. If you're getting into that stuff, you'll need a third-party tool. Some people prefer other unit testing platforms. Other than that, for the most part, people stick with the free Apple tools.
Is there open source that you can play around with if you're just getting into it as well, or
Yeah.
like if you want to just start with someone else's app and then just see if you can change it around
Yeah.
or something?
Hit GitHub. Depends what kind of stuff you're doing. I'll show you. The example I'm going to show actually is an open source Git client, or GitHub client, so it shows your data feed and stuff. If you're doing that kind of thing, it makes sense. If not, there's other stuff. Yeah, there's a number of, not a huge number, but enough to get a feel for demo stuff. And a lot of the libraries actually come with a demo app built in somewhere.
Can you run it on a VM?
On a
virtual machine. No, it has to be Apple
it
hardware.
has to be Apple hardware.
Yeah, I mean you could run a VM on your Mac and add the Mac and do it like
That
that.
will work,
But
not the other way around.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, which makes continuous integration a pain because you gotta run.
Yeah.
There are command line versions of the tools. They also have to run on Apple hardware.
And some code won't run on the simulator, it has to run on the device, and so then sometimes you need devices just for your continuous integration device. Yeah.
I don't have that yet.
Does
Stuff
that
like,
emulator run native?
the stuff like camera APIs and stuff like that, do you need to run that on the device?
Camera you do, but you can fake out the camera because the way it's written is the camera works the same as picking a photo from your photo library.
Okay.
So what you do is have the simulator pull photos from the libraries and take the cameras. But yeah, there's no camera in the emulator.
Yeah.
I mean, they only just let us fake out a location for geolocation that's not their head office. Okay, next I guess we'll get
Yeah,
Norm
we'll
to
take Android next. I'll do Android next.
Thanks, Christina.
Okay.
So we'll do another round.